Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into wheat pennies, the 1-cent coins minted from 1909 to 1958 that many ignore, but some are worth millions. In this video, we'll reveal one rare 1958 penny that shocked collectors with its staggering value and the hidden details that make it so valuable. So stay tuned and let's get started. If you've ever glanced at a penny and thought it was just spare change, think again, because hidden among the billions of Lincoln cents produced over the decades are a few extraordinary pieces that defy all odds and carry staggering value. And one such coin, the 1958 wheat penny, has shocked collectors and enthusiasts by commanding prices as high as $1,200 for a single coin with nothing more than a face value of 1 cent. Yet, what makes this particular penny so valuable isn't gold or silver content, but rather its fascinating errors, rare variations, historical significance, and limited surviving population in high grades, which have caused it to surge in popularity within the numismatic world. And in this video we're about to unpack every jaw-dropping reason why this humble 1958 wheat cent could be worth far more than its tiny copper frame suggests. So before we dive into the mind-blowing details, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing coin facts that could lead you straight to a fortune, because what we're revealing next could change the way you see every penny you come across. Now, starting with the context of the 1958 penny's creation, this coin was minted in Denver during a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning out of the classic wheat reverse design that had defined Lincoln cents since 1909. With 1958 being the final year that featured the wheat ears reversed before switching to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959, and this makes all 1958 pennies historically significant, but especially those from the Denver Mint because they encapsulate the end of an era. And what sets the 1958 apart even more is that while the total mintage was high, over 800 million coins, only a fraction have survived in top condition, and fewer still with the kinds of unique errors and die anomalies that push collectors into bidding wars, such as double die obverse, repunchment marks, off-center strikes, die cracks, planchet flaws, and machine doubling that can create ghostly shadows or distortions on Lincoln's face or the inscriptions around him. And even though most error coins from this year may only be worth a few dollars, the very finest examples, especially those certified by grading companies like PCGS and NGC, have fetched upwards of $1,200 and are rising in value as more collectors enter the market and competition grows. And one particularly famous error is the repunchment mark, RPM, where the D for Denver was punched into the die more than once, causing a noticeable doubling under magnification, which can range from subtle misalignments to dramatic shifts in placement that make the coin stand out immediately to experienced collectors. And another high-demand variety includes the extremely rare double die obverse, which, while better known on the 1955 Lincoln cent, also occurs in extremely scarce examples on the 1958 and in those rare instances, details like the word liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," or the date itself will appear doubled, with letters showing thick shadows or notches, and these coins are often instantly spotted during careful inspections, yet are easy to miss in casual change searches, which means many people may already have one and not even know. And condition plays a massive role in the coin's value too, with higher grades exponentially increasing its market price, and coins in mint state with full red RD designation are especially sought after because they retain their original copper luster that is not darkened or toned over time. And as coin collectors know, only a small percentage of pennies survive in this pristine condition due to circulation, oxidation, improper storage, or casual mishandling. So when a 1958 penny is found in MS66 or higher with blazing red color and zero contact marks, collectors are ready to pay a premium. And this is exactly why auction houses have seen growing demand for certified wheat cents from the final year of issue, especially those from Denver with errors, and even coins in MS64 with attractive eye appeal have jumped in value due to increasing market interest and the rising cost of entry-level rare coins. And for those wondering what gives the coin its lasting charm, part of the answer lies in the design itself, featuring Victor D. Brenner's iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of American resilience and integrity, combined with the reverse side's twin wheat ears, which evoke the spirit of American agriculture and wartime unity. And when you hold a 1958 D wheat cent, you're not just holding copper, you're holding history, and in some cases, you're holding a valuable investment, especially when the coin includes a combination of error and eye appeal. And let's not forget that as the last year of the wheat reverse design, these coins are popular even in circulated condition among new collectors, many of whom are entering the hobby through social media, YouTube, TikTok, and coin hunting groups that share stories of everyday people discovering small fortunes in ordinary-looking change. And the 1958 D is often at the center of those stories, whether it's someone finding a pristine one in a forgotten roll, or a collector spotting doubling with a $10 loop they bought online. And the excitement only grows as more people realize that coin collecting isn't just a niche hobby. It's a treasure hunt where the reward isn't just financial but also historical and personal. And even for those who've never collected before, knowing the key signs of a valuable 1958 D penny can be the first step toward a thrilling and potentially lucrative journey into numismatics. So what should you look for if you want to find one of these valuable coins? Start by checking the mint mark. Does it look doubled or strange in any way? Then examine the lettering under magnification for signs of doubling or die deterioration. Look at the coin's luster under different light angles. Weigh it to see if it deviates from the standard 3.11 grams, and check for any unusual rim damage or off-center features. And if you think you've found something promising, it may be worth sending to a reputable grading service for authentication, which not only confirms its value, but also protects it from damage. And over time, even modestly valuable coins can appreciate dramatically as demand increases and supply dwindles. And the 1958 D penny has already proven to be one of those coins that quietly rose through the ranks to become a high-value collectible. And while it may not match the multi-million-dollar fame of some ultra-rare coins, it represents something more accessible yet still extremely rewarding for those willing to pay attention. And many seasoned collectors started their journey with a coin like this, something they found in a drawer or coin jar that turned out to be worth hundreds or even over $1,000, and you could be next. So as this story proves, the 1958 D wheat penny is more than just another Lincoln cent. It's a window into a fascinating time in American minting history, a symbol of transition, and for a lucky few, a source of unexpected wealth. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, keeping your eyes open for these small details can turn a penny into a prize. So take a closer look at your pocket change today. And if you're enjoying this deep dive into rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more exciting discoveries, and stay tuned because the next coin we talk about might just be the one sitting in your pocket right now. Next, 1945 wheat penny. Did you ever think a simple 1945 wheat penny sitting unnoticed in your change jar could be worth hundreds of dollars, maybe even more? It might sound unbelievable, but that's exactly what's happening across America as collectors, dealers, and hobbyists dig through boxes of old coins in search of rare and valuable 1945 wheat pennies that have become some of the most talked about coins in numismatic circles, with certain varieties now commanding up to $635 or more depending on mint errors, condition, and eye appeal. And while many people overlook these pennies because they seem so common, true collectors know that it's not just about the date or the metal but about the details, the story, the uniqueness behind each coin. And in the case of the 1945 wheat penny, we're talking about a year that marked the end of World War II, a historical turning point that makes coins from that period especially desirable to collectors due to their symbolic and emotional significance. And considering that the Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion of these coins, it might seem like they wouldn't be worth much at all, but what truly sets some of these 1945 wheat pennies apart and pushes their value up to and beyond $635 are the rare and elusive mint errors, like double die obverse, where the date or inscriptions, like "I in God we trust" and "Liberty" appear doubled under magnification, or die cracks running through Lincoln's face or jacket, or repunched mint marks in the case of the 1945D or 1945S variants, where a secondary impression of the mint mark can be clearly seen overlapping the original one, and these flaws, once considered imperfections, are now treasured anomalies that transform ordinary coins into collector's gems, and when found in high-grade condition, especially those certified as MS-65 or better by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, they can easily reach hundreds of dollars or more in private sales or public auctions, and the most desirable 1945 wheat pennies exhibit full luster, strong strikes, and minimal contact marks, characteristics that sharply increase their desirability and price. And although most people associate value with silver or gold coins, copper pennies from the 1940s, especially those from significant years like 1945, are steadily climbing in popularity and value, and one major reason is nostalgia. The coin represents a generation, a war, a victory, and a return to peace and prosperity, all embedded within the small but mighty 1-cent piece that most people simply pass by without a second thought. But for collectors and sharp-eyed treasure hunters, the 1945 wheat penny is a beacon, a symbol of hidden wealth and numismatic opportunity, and the demand for high-quality specimens is rising every year as more collectors aim to complete their Lincoln wheat cent sets or hunt for those rare error coins that fetch premium prices. And it's not just about the high-end coins either. Even moderately circulated 1945 wheat pennies with notable errors can be worth dozens of times their face value. And considering that these coins are still being found in circulation or inherited from older collections, the possibility of stumbling on a valuable piece is very real, and stories of lucky finds are everywhere. A teenager finding a $400 penny in Grandpa's cigar box, a metal detectorist unearthing a gem mint 1945D with a rare RPM on a hiking trail, or a coin roll hunter discovering a near-perfect red penny with doubling on the obverse letters. And these stories fuel the dreams of everyday people who now look at every penny twice, hoping theirs might be the next big discovery. And when you add in the fact that copper prices have gone up and the metal content alone adds a baseline value to older pennies, especially when compared to their zinc counterparts from the modern era, it's no wonder the buzz around the 1945 wheat penny continues to grow. And with many collectors competing to get their hands on one, the market has responded accordingly, with prices surging for coins that were once dismissed as junk drawer leftovers. And remember that beyond just errors, there are subtypes and varieties cataloged in reference books and numismatic databases, from the position of the mint mark to subtle die varieties that distinguish one coin from another, and those who take the time to study these details can uncover hidden treasures and add significant value to their collection, or even make a profit flipping them in the thriving online coin market. And beyond financial worth, the coin itself is a tangible connection to history, to the end of World War II, to President Truman's first year in office, to the return of American soldiers and the birth of the baby boomer generation. And holding such a coin in your hand is like holding a piece of that story, a link to the past, and for many collectors, that's the real value. And yet, when historical meaning meets rarity, meets condition, meets collector demand, we start seeing numbers like $635 or even higher for the best examples of the 1945 wheat penny, especially those with exceptional appeal or unique quirks that make them stand out in the world of Lincoln cents. And while some dismiss coin collecting as a slow or outdated hobby, the truth is it's experiencing a modern revival with online communities, YouTube influencers, TikTok clips, and even mobile apps helping people everywhere understand just how valuable coins like the 1945 wheat penny can be, and what's more. The coin's low face value and common appearance make it an ideal entry point for new collectors, giving them a low-risk way to start exploring and potentially stumble upon a coin worth hundreds or thousands of times its original value. And that's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about old money, it's about curiosity, history, and the thrill of the hunt. And few coins exemplify this better than the 1945 wheat penny, a seemingly ordinary piece of copper that, under the right conditions and with the right error or grade, can be worth far more than anyone expects. And whether you're digging through inherited coin albums, checking change at the gas station, or buying rolls to search through at home, keep your eyes peeled for those 1945 pennies with bright luster, sharp details, or visible anomalies, because your next great find might be sitting in your pocket right now. So don't let another penny pass you by without a second glance, because it could be the one that changes everything. And if you're excited about learning more, uncovering hidden gems, and hearing incredible stories of lucky finds and coin values that defy expectations, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for even more numismatic adventures that might just lead you to your very own $635 discovery or something even more incredible. Next, 1954 South 1 Center wheat penny. Today we are diving deep into one of the lesser-known yet incredibly fascinating coins in American numismatic history, a coin that on the surface appears to be just another ordinary penny, but upon closer inspection reveals secrets, errors, and varieties that have stunned collectors, historians, and appraisers around the world and elevated its market value far beyond what most would ever expect. And that coin is the 1954 S Lincoln wheat penny, struck at the San Francisco Mint in a year that marked both the continuation of post-war economic prosperity and the waning days of the wheat penny design before it would soon be replaced by the memorial reverse in 1959. And what makes the 1954 S penny so intriguing is not its mintage volume, which was in the hundreds of millions, but rather the rare, subtle, and sometimes dramatic minting mistakes and die anomalies that occurred during production, leading to a small subset of these coins becoming highly collectible and valuable, with certain error examples commanding prices as high as $734 or more depending on their condition, certification, and specific variety. And in today's in-depth breakdown we'll unravel every single possibility that contributes to the seemingly unbelievable valuation of this copper coin, including the common and rare errors like repunched mint marks, doubled dies, die cracks, die chips, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, lamination flaws, improper alloy mixes, struck-through errors, and more. And we'll explore how these tiny mistakes made during the minting process transform a simple penny into a prized artifact that serious collectors hunt down with microscopes, grading guides, and certified population reports. So let's begin with one of the most talked about errors associated with the 1954 S wheat penny, the repunched mint mark or RPM. A fascinating variety that occurred when the S mint mark for the San Francisco Mint was manually punched into the working die more than once, leading to visible doubling, overlapping, or shifting of the S that can be seen with magnification and even sometimes with the naked eye. And the RPMs from 1954S come in several recognized varieties cataloged by the Cherry Picker's Guide and other leading authorities, and these small anomalies instantly make a 1954S penny more desirable to collectors, especially when they are found in higher mint state grades, and depending on the clarity and sharpness of the repunching, these coins can fetch significant premiums at auction, sometimes doubling or tripling the base value of the coin. And when combined with a pristine surface, full red color, and minimal contact marks, that RPM alone can help the coin reach values near or exceeding $734, especially when certified by professional services like PCGS or NGC. And then we turn our attention to another key area of value, the double die obverse or reverse. Though less common in 1954's pennies compared to other years, like 1955, there have been confirmed examples where the doubling affects the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust," and this doubling results from a misalignment between the hub and the die during the die creation process, leading to a noticeable and collectible error that can be quite striking when found in good condition, and although fewer of these have been graded compared to other errors, the rarity and visual impact of a doubled die make it highly sought after, and such coins have a history of outperforming expectations in sales and auctions, particularly when collectors are looking to complete error sets or pursue investment-grade wheat pennies. And next we have die chips and die cracks, which, though minor in comparison to doubled dies or RPMs, still contribute to value, especially when they occur in dramatic or unique places like Lincoln's eye, mouth, beard, or near the date, with collectors often giving fun nicknames like Spiked Head or Bearded Lincoln to these coins. And in the 1954S series, there are known examples with chips in the wheat stalks or cracks running through the motto. And while individually these might not bring hundreds of dollars, when paired with other errors or high grade, they add layers of uniqueness that make the coin more appealing to both casual and serious buyers. And then there are lamination errors, which occur when the metal alloy used in the planchet does not bond properly, leading to flakes, peels, or rough textures on the coin's surface. And in 1954's pennies, some examples show dramatic peeling or wrinkling in the copper surface, which under magnification appears almost like paper being torn. And these lamination flaws are fascinating because they tell the story of production mishaps at the mint level and often result in highly unique one-of-a-kind appearances, especially desirable to error specialists who focus on planchet and die issues. And while not all lamination errors are valuable, those with prominent, well-placed flaws, especially on the obverse or across key design elements, can drive the price up dramatically, particularly in uncirculated grades. And now we arrive at off-center strikes, one of the more visually stunning errors that instantly catch the eye and imagination, where the coin was struck misaligned with the planchet and part of the design is missing. And in the 1954S series, off-center strikes ranging from 5% to 50% have been found, and the most valuable examples are those where enough of the date and mint mark are visible for identification while still showing dramatic off-centering, and such coins routinely fetch well into the hundreds of dollars, with some perfect examples exceeding the $734 mark, especially when certified and preserved in mint state. And these coins are especially appealing to beginners and advanced collectors alike because they represent a clear, obvious minting error that needs no magnification or advanced expertise to appreciate, and they're also one of the easiest ways to build an impressive error coin collection with high visual appeal. And let's not forget clipped planchet errors, where part of the coin is missing due to an incomplete blank being fed into the striking chamber, often resulting in crescent-shaped cuts or irregularities along the rim. And when this occurs on a 1954's penny, it's a strong point of interest, especially if it doesn't affect the date or mint mark and the clip is large or unusually shaped. And such coins, while not as dramatic in value as others, still contribute to the overall appeal of the error coin market and can push coin values higher when combined with high grades or other errors. And one of the more bizarre but real errors are struck-through errors, where foreign materials like grease, thread, or wire get between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving an imprint or void on the coin. And in the 1954's wheat penny line, there have been confirmed struck-through thread and grease errors, some of which are so clearly defined that the object can almost be reconstructed, and such examples are prized for their uniqueness and often end up in private collections, fetching well over average market price depending on size and location of the struck-through area, and still more variations come into play when we consider the color and surface grading of the coin, because as with all Lincoln cents, 1954 S pennies are graded not only on strike and condition, but also on color, BN for brown, RB for red-brown, and RD for full red, and a 1954 S wheat penny with a clear error and a full red color designation in MS65 or higher is significantly rarer than its brown or red-brown counterparts, and collectors often pay heavy premiums for that fiery original mint luster, which indicates the coin has been untouched by oxidation or handling for decades. And while a brown coin with an error might bring $50 to $150, the same error on a red coin can easily reach or surpass the $734 level, especially if it's a known variety cataloged by error specialists. And when you factor in rarity, population reports, and condition sensitivity, the 1954S becomes even more exciting because although the base mintage was large, only a tiny fraction survive today in pristine mint state condition, and fewer still have recognized and collectible errors. And when certified by major grading services, the population drops to just a handful for certain combinations of grade, error, and color, making each coin a unique opportunity for collectors and investors alike. And this combination of visual anomaly, historical context, production mistake. Next, 1955 wheat penny. The channel where hidden treasures are revealed, where we explore the unbelievable worth of coins you may have walked past 1,000 times. And today we are uncovering the incredible story of the 1955 wheat penny, a small copper coin minted in the mid-20th century that has earned a legendary reputation among collectors not for being made of precious metal or encrusted with jewels, but because of its fascinating minting errors and unusual characteristics that have pushed its value far beyond its original 1-cent face value, with certain varieties being appraised and sold for upwards of $65 or even more depending on condition, scarcity, and demand. And as we journey into the rich history of this coin, you'll see exactly why even a penny can be worth big money, especially when it contains rare mistakes that turn it into a prized collectible. So let's dig deep into the reasons why this modest-looking 1955 wheat penny has captured the attention of numismatists worldwide, beginning with the context of its origin at the Philadelphia Mint during a time when coin production was a massive undertaking involving large volumes and immense speed to meet the economic needs of the country. But in the rush to keep up with demand, a small yet significant error occurred that would eventually elevate this coin from common change to collector gold, and that error was none other than the famous double die obverse, where the date, lettering, and even parts of Lincoln's bust on the front of the coin were struck twice slightly out of alignment, creating a ghost-like, highly visible doubling effect that is so striking and dramatic it can be easily spotted even without magnification. And this variety, known officially as the 1955 double die obverse or 1955 DDO, became one of the most well-known and sought-after error coins in United States history, causing a frenzy among collectors and dealers ever since it was first discovered in circulation shortly after its release. And what makes this error particularly valuable is not only the boldness of the doubling, but also the fact that it was not immediately caught by mint inspectors, resulting in thousands of these flawed coins entering circulation before the mistake was discovered and halted. And even though many of them were eventually pulled from the system or worn down through decades of use, several hundred to a few thousand high-grade examples have survived, some of which are in mint state condition and command thousands of dollars. But even heavily circulated examples are worth significant money. And then there are those 1955 wheat pennies with minor doubling or strike anomalies that don't qualify as the full double die obverse, but still catch the eyes of collectors and specialists looking for transitional or secondary errors. And beyond the famous DDO, Other types of errors and minting mishaps can increase the value of a 1955 wheat penny, such as off-center strikes where the coin is misaligned during minting, resulting in an incomplete design that can range from 5% to 90% off, with the value increasing as the percentage of misalignment grows, particularly if the date remains visible or coins struck on defective or improper planchets that cause surface irregularities, cracks, or clipped planchets, or even lamination errors where the coin surface begins to peel due to impurities or poor metal bonding, and repunched mint marks, though not typically found on 1955 Philadelphia minted pennies since they lack mint marks, can still be relevant for other years and draw attention to the overall possibilities collectors look for. And then there are die breaks and die chips that create raised areas of extra metal on the coin, sometimes forming interesting shapes or patterns known as cut errors or blobs, which can carry their own premiums depending on their size and location. And while the most spectacular 1955 error is without doubt the double die, even minor varieties or borderline cases that mimic the doubling or show extra thickness in the date or lettering can draw attention on marketplaces like eBay, Etsy, heritage auctions, and coin show circuits where collectors are constantly on the hunt for underappreciated rarities. And many casual collectors have found great success identifying these errors by using inexpensive tools like 10x loops, digital microscopes, and even smartphone zoom lenses, giving virtually anyone the ability to participate in the hunt. And as interest in numismatics continues to grow thanks to social media and YouTube creators who reveal coin finds worth thousands, the demand for even lower-tier errors like partial doubling, die deterioration doubling, and mechanical doubling, though not as valuable as a true double die, still generate buzz and occasional bidding wars from less experienced or enthusiastic collectors wanting a piece of the action. And what's more, even without errors, a 1955 wheat penny in pristine uncirculated condition, graded MS65 or higher by PCGS or NGC, can be valued far above face value simply due to its age, historic context, eye appeal, and the dwindling supply of high-grade coins as more examples are locked away in permanent collections, lost to time, or damaged through mishandling, cleaning, and exposure to harsh environments, and the rich red color of a well-preserved copper penny, classified as RD by grading services, can add a significant premium compared to brown, BN, or red-brown RB counterparts, which is why serious collectors prioritize color, luster, and strike sharpness when making purchases or assessing coins for resale, and as a result, some non-error 1955 wheat pennies have fetched $50 to $200 or more at auction simply due to their superior visual quality, untouched state, or impeccable provenance, and for those seeking to profit or simply collect. Understanding the market dynamics of coin values is essential, as prices fluctuate based on metal demand, numismatic trends, and even macroeconomic conditions. But coins like the 1955 double die or other 1955 error varieties tend to defy broader trends and maintain their desirability through all market cycles due to their iconic status and scarcity. And with demand from new collectors consistently strong, the future for 1955 penny prices remains bright, especially as more people discover old coin jars, inherited collections, or estate sales containing hidden gems. And when these coins surface unexpectedly, it brings renewed attention to this incredible minting year, proving that a single coin can change the life of its finder or seller. And as we look forward to what other mysteries might be hidden in the seemingly ordinary change we carry, it's worth remembering that the 1955 wheat penny's rise to fame was built on a mistake, a tiny moment in the minting process that created a permanent mark of rarity and uniqueness. And that even errors, often seen as flaws, can hold immense beauty and value. When viewed through the lens of history, craftsmanship, and the collector's eye, and whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone just starting out, The story of the 1955 wheat penny serves as a perfect example of why coin collecting is so captivating, where knowledge, patience, and a bit of luck can lead to discovering something truly valuable in the most unexpected places. So don't overlook your pennies, keep learning, keep looking, and stay tuned to this channel for even more amazing coin stories that could change the way you see your spare change forever. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of the 1955 wheat penny and the incredible reasons it can be worth far more than a single cent, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more treasure-filled content, and join our growing community of coin lovers, collectors, and everyday people searching for hidden fortune in plain sight. Next, 1958 wheat penny, the channel where we explore the most mind-blowing coin discoveries, the rarest treasures hiding in plain sight, and the everyday pieces of pocket change that are actually worth serious money. And today we're going to dig deep into one of the most fascinating and deceptively common coins in American history, a coin that looks like a standard copper penny to the untrained eye but in reality could be worth hundreds of dollars. Sometimes as much as $650 or more depending on its errors, condition, and minting anomalies. Yes, we're talking about the 1958 wheat penny, a coin that has sparked immense excitement among collectors and coin hunters for decades, not because it was made from precious metals or struck in incredibly low numbers, like some commemorative issues, but because of the amazing variety of errors and mistakes that occurred during its production. Errors that transformed what was supposed to be an everyday penny into a sought-after collectible that is sold for hundreds of dollars at auctions, and in some cases much more when multiple rare features combine. So let's take a deep and uninterrupted look into what makes this particular coin so valuable, so interesting, and so crucial for coin collectors and treasure hunters to understand, because the 1958 wheat penny, minted in Denver in the final year before the Lincoln Cid design transition from the wheat reverse to the Lincoln Memorial reverse, holds a unique position in history, and any errors from this year, especially from the Denver Mint, are both historically significant and highly collectible. Now first we need to explore the types of errors that have appeared on the 1958 penny and why they drive up the value, starting with one of the most popular categories of mint errors, which is the repunched mint mark, or RPM, a condition that occurs when the mint mark for Denver is punched more than once in slightly different positions, usually due to manual punching of the mint mark into the die before the advent of machine-punched mint marks. And while a slight doubling may not seem like much, when visible to the naked eye or under slight magnification, collectors become very interested because such errors are not supposed to happen, and when they do and survive into public circulation, they carry a level of rarity that attracts major attention. Some 1958 RPMs show the secondary D clearly north, south, east, or west of the main D, giving the coin a kind of shadowed or ghosted mint mark appearance, which makes it both fun and rewarding to hunt for and extremely valuable. But that's just the beginning, because in addition to repunched mint marks, other errors on the 1958 wheat penny include off-center strikes, which occur when the blank metal planchet is not properly aligned with the dies, resulting in coins that have a portion of the design missing, creating an eye-catching crescent-shaped blank area that adds both error value and visual appeal. And when the date and mint mark are still intact, off-center strikes become even more valuable because they retain all the identifying markers collectors care about while still exhibiting a dramatic mistake. Then we have die cracks, which are lines that can appear on coins due to breaks or stress fractures in the die used to strike the coin, and these cracks transfer to the coin surface as raised lines that often snake through the obverse or reverse in wild and unpredictable ways, creating almost artistic flourishes that some collectors specifically seek out. And sometimes these die cracks lead to what's known as retained die breaks or cut errors, where a portion of the coin appears raised and blobby due to a piece of the die breaking off entirely, and that alone can add significant value, especially if it occurs in a dramatic area like Lincoln's profile or the wheat stalks. And let's not forget about die chips, which are small raised blobs that appear when a tiny piece of the die chips away during use and results in small metal protrusions usually on the letters or the mint mark. And while tiny, these chips can make a coin a known variety, especially if the chip is large or unusually placed, adding further collector interest and value. And speaking of varieties, there's also strong collector demand for 1958D wheat pennies that exhibit signs of die deterioration doubling, which, while technically not a true double die error, still gives the appearance of doubling, especially around the date, liberty, and motto. And though not as valuable as a true double die, coins with strong mechanical or strike doubling can still command premiums from interested buyers. Now let's talk about perhaps the most famous and rare type of error that's ever been connected with the 1958 series, the double die obverse, known most famously from the Philadelphia Mint version. But some collectors and researchers speculate that extremely rare, possibly unverified 1958D examples may exist due to shared die creation errors or unnoticed anomalies. And if a true 1958D double die obverse were confirmed and authenticated by a grading service like PCGS or NGC, it would undoubtedly cause a massive stir in the coin collecting world and push prices far higher than even $650, possibly into the thousands or tens of thousands depending on condition. Now all these errors become even more valuable when the coin is in excellent condition, and for the 1958D penny that means mint state condition, graded MS60 or higher, with strong luster, minimal scratches, and full details, and a coin in MS65 or higher with an error like an RPM or die break could easily fetch $650 or more. And coins with multiple errors on a single piece, say an off-center strike with a die crack and a repunched mint mark, are exceptionally rare and command some of the highest prices in the market. So what makes the 1958D wheat penny particularly exciting for collectors is not just the errors themselves, but the frequency with which small but collectible mistakes occurred in this final year of the wheat design. It's like the Denver Mint was transitioning into a new era, and along the way a number of production issues slipped through, many of which went unnoticed for decades until hobbyists with loupes and microscopes began re-examining old rolls and discovering these anomalies. And even today many of these error coins remain undiscovered, hidden away in collections or forgotten jars and drawers, meaning that the average person still has a chance to uncover a coin that could be worth hundreds of dollars. And when you think about the sheer number of wheat pennies that were minted and circulated from 1909 to 1958, billions of them, and how only a small fraction have been thoroughly examined for errors, the odds suggest that many valuable 1958D error coins are still out there, waiting to be found. And if you consider how easy it is to mistake one of these coins as ordinary, you realize just how important knowledge and awareness are in this hobby. Because to the average person, a 1958D wheat penny might seem like pocket change, but to a trained eye it could be a tiny copper fortune. And the beauty of this story is that you don't have to be an expert to find one, you just have to start looking, start learning what to look for, get a decent magnifying glass, and take a fresh look at those old coins sitting around your house. Or next time you get change from the store, give those pennies a quick inspection. Because you never know what rare piece of American minting history might be staring back at you. And the 1958D wheat penny represents that exciting possibility that maybe the next great find is already in your possession, and you just haven't realized it yet. And whether it's a clear RPM, an off-center strike, a bold die crack, or some other mysterious anomaly that sets your coin apart from the rest, that little detail could be the difference between 1 cent and hundreds of dollars. And when you consider that some error coins have risen in value over time, it's not just about the fun of collecting, it's about investing in numismatic history. And that's why the 1958D wheat penny deserves your full attention, not because it's the rarest or most famous coin in the series, but because it exemplifies how much potential can be hiding in something that looks completely ordinary. So keep your eyes open, your coin jars handy, and your curiosity alive because the next coin you check might just be worth $650 or even more. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the exciting world of the 1958 wheat penny and its errors, be sure to like this video, subscribe for more incredible coin stories, and join our growing community of collectors, enthusiasts, and treasure hunters who know that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest value. Next, 1951 wheat penny. Every penny holds a story, and every coin could potentially be a fortune in disguise. And today's deep dive takes us into the intriguing and lesser-known world of the 1951 wheat penny, a small copper coin with a face value of 1 cent that has turned heads in the numismatic community by fetching impressive sums like $346 due to a wide variety of mint errors, die anomalies, and production quirks that make it stand out from the millions produced during its year of issue. So whether you're a seasoned coin collector, a curious enthusiast, or someone who just stumbled upon an old penny and wondered if it could be worth something, you're in for a deep and comprehensive exploration of what makes the 1951 wheat penny such a compelling and potentially valuable piece of American coinage history. And it all begins with understanding the broader historical and economic context of the early 1950s, when the United States Mint was in full swing, recovering from the production pressures of World War II and adapting to new demands from a post-war economy that saw a booming population and increasing circulation of coins. And during this time, the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of wheat pennies in 1951, which means the coin isn't inherently rare based on mintage numbers alone. But when you start to analyze the coin under a magnifying glass or through professional grading services, you begin to uncover the fascinating world of minting mistakes that can significantly elevate its market value. And one of the most common but still collectible errors involves die breaks and die cracks that appear along Lincoln's head or through the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," giving the appearance of raised lines or even what collectors affectionately call cuds, when part of the die breaks away and leaves a blob-like formation on the edge of the coin. And while these might seem like defects, in the numismatic world, they are prized for their uniqueness because they result from the minting process itself and not from post-mint damage. And then there are the double die errors, where a coin is struck by a misaligned die or the die itself has engraved doubling that results in a ghosted, shadow-like duplication of features like the date, the letters in Liberty, or the iconic profile of President Lincoln. And these doubled dies can vary in severity and visibility, with more pronounced examples commanding higher premiums at auction. And then we have the off-center strikes, where the coin blank was not properly seated in the striking chamber, resulting in part of the design being pushed to one side and often leaving a blank crescent or arc along the edge of the coin, which again increases desirability, especially when the date remains fully visible, because collectors look for both uniqueness and identifiable characteristics. And let's not forget about repunched mint marks, although more commonly found on coins from branch mints like Denver or San Francisco. There have been instances where even Philadelphia-issued coins showed signs of re-engraving or over-polishing around the date area, possibly due to die maintenance or early stages of die fatigue. And some 1951 wheat pennies have shown light die polishing marks, which create interesting streak-like patterns across the coin's fields, giving it a shimmer or texture that sets it apart from others. And while these aren't errors per se, they still appeal to collectors who are fascinated by the minting process and the subtle variations it can produce. And some examples of the 1951 penny have also been found with lamination errors where impurities or contaminants in the copper alloy cause flakes or peeling layers on the surface, resulting in coins with rough, uneven textures or missing patches of material. And this too is an original minting defect that increases value due to its rarity. And in rare cases, there have been reports of 1951 pennies struck on improper planchets, including blank discs intended for foreign coinage or even different U.S. denominations, creating off-metal errors where the coin's weight and color differ noticeably from standard copper coins, and these errors can be verified through precise measurements and metallurgical analysis, and when such off-metal examples are certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, their value can increase exponentially. And speaking of condition, the grade of a coin is one of the most significant factors in determining its value, and coins that are in uncirculated or mint state condition with full red luster and minimal marks are far more desirable than heavily circulated or corroded examples. So a 1951 wheat penny with even a common error but preserved in pristine condition can fetch much more than a damaged coin with a rarer error. And this is why many collectors invest in professional grading and encapsulation to preserve the integrity and authenticity of their coins. And, on top of errors and grade, provenance and uniqueness play a role too, because if a coin has been part of a famous collection or featured in a well-known numismatic publication or exhibit, it can carry additional prestige and command a higher price. And sometimes, coins are discovered in rolls or bags that have been untouched for decades, and when one or more error coins are found within a hoard, especially those with unusual die states or serial die markers, they can be grouped into special varieties that attract specialist collectors, and over time, as more coins are studied and cataloged, specific varieties of the 1951 wheat penny have gained recognition, such as the 1951 DDO001 or coins with known progression of die cracks and breaks, forming what are known as die stages or states. And collectors who specialize in these coins will often pay a premium to complete a progression set showing how a particular die deteriorated over time. And in the auction market, these coins can achieve surprising results, with even modest error coins like minor off-centers or small cuts selling for $50 to $100 and more dramatic or compound errors reaching $200 to $500 depending on their appeal and rarity. And the specific example that sold for $346 likely had a combination of moderate die break, clear doubling, and strong eye appeal, making it highly attractive to a buyer who recognized its uniqueness and potential for appreciation. And with the increasing interest in tangible collectibles and alternative investments, rare coins like the 1951 wheat penny with errors are finding new audiences beyond traditional collectors, including investors, influencers, and historians who see these coins as not only financial opportunities, but also as time capsules that reflect the industrial, economic, and cultural landscape of mid-century America. And the fact that such a small and seemingly insignificant object could carry so much intrigue, complexity, and value is a testament to the richness of the numismatic hobby, and it shows that with a keen eye, some knowledge, and a little luck, almost anyone can participate in the excitement of discovering rare coins. And the best part is that many of these treasures are still out there in circulation, hiding in old jars, coin rolls, or family keepsakes, just waiting to be found. So if you have any 1951 wheat pennies lying around, now is the time to take a closer look, examine them under a good light or a magnifier, compare them to online references or professional attribution guides, and consider getting them appraised or graded if you notice anything unusual, because that 1-cent coin could very well be your doorway into a fascinating world and maybe even a valuable payday. And whether you're hunting for dramatic doubling, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, die breaks, planchet flaws, or off-metal compositions, the 1951 wheat penny is a treasure trove of possibilities that continues to surprise and delight collectors year after year. And its enduring appeal lies not just in its monetary value, but in the stories it tells, the mysteries it holds, and the historical threads it weaves into the fabric of American coinage. And as more people become aware of the potential value of error coins and begin to search through their change and collections with fresh eyes, the chances of new discoveries and record-breaking sales continue to grow, keeping the legend of the 1951 wheat penny alive and well. in the ever-evolving narrative of rare coins. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most intriguing coins of the early 1950s, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because we have so many more captivating coin stories, market insights, and treasure hunting tips coming your way that could help you unlock the secrets and value hidden in your very own coin collection. Next, 1946 wheat penny. Today we're going to take you deep into the intriguing and surprising world of one of the most overlooked yet shockingly valuable coins in American history, the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that originally carried a face value of just 1 cent but now commands a value as high as $230 or even more depending on the specific errors, varieties, and overall condition. And many people don't realize that this humble post-war penny, which is often sitting unnoticed in collections, drawers, jars, and old piggy banks, can hold significant worth because of its rare minting mistakes, historical context, unique production characteristics, and collector demand that continues to elevate its desirability in the numismatic world. And if you've ever thought that the 1946 penny is too common to be valuable, think again. Because it's exactly that perception which allows many of these rare and error-filled coins to fly under the radar of casual collectors. So let's unravel the layers of what makes the 1946 wheat penny so special, starting with the fact that it was minted in the immediate aftermath of World War II, a time of economic change and minting transition, when the U.S. Mint was reverting from the wartime steel cents of 1943 back to the traditional bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, but materials were still under ration. Machines were being recalibrated, and mint workers were under intense pressure to produce large quantities quickly, which created the perfect storm for unusual mint errors to occur and go unnoticed. And although over 991 million 1946 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone, making the base coin relatively common, what gives it surprising value is the discovery of rare errors and varieties that occurred during the striking process, such as double die obverse, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, die clashes, lamination errors, and even transitional planchet strikes that make certain examples worth hundreds of dollars and highly desirable among collectors and investors alike. And the most sought after among these is the double die obverse variety, where letters and numbers on the obverse side of the coin, especially the word Liberty, the date 1946, and the motto "In God We Trust," appear slightly doubled, a result of the die receiving two misaligned impressions from the hub. And while not as dramatic as the famous 1955 double die, the 1946 examples are considerably more scarce and often go unnoticed by those unfamiliar with the doubling effect, and coins displaying strong doubling, particularly in uncirculated condition, can fetch well above the $200 mark, especially when graded by reputable services like PCGS or NGC. But that's not the only anomaly adding value to the 1946 penny, because repunched mint marks, especially from the Denver and San Francisco mints where the D and S mint marks were hand-punched into the dies, sometimes show visible doubling or tripling when the punch was not aligned perfectly, and collectors actively seek out these RPM, repunched mint mark, varieties, cataloging them with designations like RPM 001, RPM 002, and so on. And some of these can increase a coin's value exponentially depending on how clear and pronounced the repunch is and the condition of the coin. And then there are the off-center strike errors, which occur when the coin blank or planchet is not properly aligned in the press, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing while the rest is shifted towards the edge, and the degree of off-centering can vary, with minor examples being less valuable but those struck 50% off-center and still showing a full date and mint mark becoming much more valuable, sometimes reaching or exceeding the $230 mark. And closely related are the broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar that normally helps form the rim, leading to a flattened, expanded appearance that's clearly distinguishable from normal pennies and carries extra value among error collectors. And we can't forget about clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin appears to be missing due to an error during the blank cutting process, and these crescent or straight clips, especially when combined with a visible date and mint mark, add to the uniqueness and marketability of a coin. And then there are lamination errors, caused by impurities in the metal or problems during the alloying process, which result in flakes or cracks on the coin's surface where the top layer has peeled away. And while this might seem like damage to the untrained eye, to a seasoned collector, it represents a legitimate mint error and can greatly enhance a coin's appeal and value. And similarly, die cracks and die breaks, often appearing as raised lines across the surface, indicate that the die used to strike the coin was damaged or nearing the end of its lifespan. And larger die breaks, sometimes forming what's known as cods, are especially prized for their bold appearance and rarity, and coins with strong, visible die breaks can easily be worth many times more than face value. And die clashes, another fascinating error type, happen when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring partial design elements from one side to the other, and when these clashed dies are later used to strike normal planchets. The result is a coin with ghost-like impressions of opposite side designs, a visually intriguing effect that collectors find irresistible. And although extremely rare, transitional errors and wrong planchet strikes for the 1946 penny have also been reported, where a coin may have been struck on a leftover planchet from another denomination or year, such as a silver dime planchet or a leftover steel set blank. And in these extraordinary cases, the coin's weight, color, and magnetic properties can differ dramatically from standard examples. And such anomalies, once authenticated, can skyrocket in value to well beyond $230, often commanding 4 or 5 figures depending on the specifics. And even aside from minting errors, the overall condition of a 1946 wheat penny plays a critical role in determining its market value, because coins that have survived the decades without wear, scratches, or discoloration, graded as mint state (MS) coins, can be worth significantly more than their circulated counterparts. And a 1946 penny in MS 65 red, for example, can already fetch $40 to $100 without errors, and if it also features an error or variety, its value can quickly climb above the $200 threshold. And this is where coin grading services become so important, as third-party certification from PCGS, NGC, or Annex not only confirms authenticity, but also provides a professional opinion on condition and error classification, which is vital for securing top dollar in the marketplace. And while many 1946 pennies were hoarded over the years and remain common in circulated grades, finding one with brilliant red luster, sharp strike, and an interesting error is considerably rarer than people think, and that scarcity drives intense collector interest and bidding wars at auctions, especially for coins with photographic provenance, strong eye appeal, or notable pedigree from historical collections. And as more and more people become aware of these hidden treasures, the value of such coins continues to rise, as demand increases and the supply of certified, high-quality error coins diminishes. And with social media, YouTube, and online marketplaces making it easier than ever to learn about and sell rare coins, more collectors are now turning their attention to overlooked years like 1946, hoping to uncover an undervalued gem. And the intrigue surrounding this particular year is enhanced by the post-war historical context, marking a period of American transition and optimism that adds emotional resonance to any collectible from that era. And this historical appeal combined with the technical minting errors makes the 1946 wheat penny not just a coin, but a time capsule, a tiny copper artifact that carries with it the legacy of an entire nation's recovery and renewal after global conflict. and holding such a coin in your hand connects you not just to numismatic history but to a broader American story. And when you factor in all the possibilities, a double die, a repunchment mark, a broad strike, a clipped planchet, a die crack, a die clash, a transitional error, or a pristine condition strike. Last 1950 wheat penny. We dig deep into the thrilling and unexpected world of rare coins, collectible treasures, and incredible stories buried in everyday pocket change. And today we bring you another jaw-dropping feature that reveals how a simple 1950 wheat penny, often overlooked and dismissed as just another old cent, can actually be worth as much as $645 or more due to a stunning array of rare mint errors, die anomalies, and fascinating production quirks that elevate this humble copper coin from common currency to high-value collectible. And while at first glance the 1950 wheat penny may seem like just another relic from mid-century America, the truth is far more exciting and financially significant for collectors, investors, and casual hobbyists alike, because behind its modest facade lies the potential for big money, and in some cases life-changing discoveries, thanks to the unexpected minting mistakes and subtle irregularities that turn a 1-cent piece into a sought-after treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And this surge in value isn't just about age or rarity alone, though the mintage numbers from 1950 are significant, with over 272 million pennies struck at the Philadelphia Mint, around 334 million at the Denver Mint, and approximately 118 million from the San Francisco Mint, making the coin relatively common in circulated condition. It's about the condition, the errors, the story behind each piece, and how all those elements combine to transform ordinary into extraordinary. Because the rarest and most desirable examples of the 1950 wheat penny include dramatic errors such as double die obverse, where the design elements on the front of the coin, like the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," or the word, "Liberty," appear duplicated or shadowed due to a misalignment in the die creation process, resulting in coins that under magnification show pronounced doubling that commands instant interest from serious collectors. And some of these double die varieties have sold for hundreds of dollars even in circulated grades, while pristine examples in mint state with brilliant red luster and no signs of wear can fetch far higher prices depending on how strong the doubling is and how rare the particular die variety may be. And another error type that makes certain 1950 pennies incredibly valuable is the repunchment mark, commonly abbreviated as RPM. And this happens when the mint mark, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco, was manually punched into the working die more than once, but not in the exact same location, resulting in visible overlapping or ghost images of the mint mark that are highly collectible. And some of these RPMs are subtle and require magnification to see, while others are so bold that even the untrained eye can spot them easily. And collectors particularly seek out these varieties because they represent a direct link to the manual and imprecise minting techniques of the era. And when combined with high-grade surfaces and vibrant color designations like red, RD, or red-brown, RB, their value skyrockets in the eyes of auctioneers and buyers alike. And speaking of surfaces, the grade of a 1950 wheat penny also plays a huge role in its value, with uncirculated examples in MS65, MS66, or higher being much rarer and therefore much more valuable than those with heavy wear or damage. And when you combine high grade with a known error like a double die or RPM, the prices can soar into the hundreds or thousands depending on how rare that specific error is. And yet the story doesn't stop with just those varieties, because the 1950 penny is also known to have some examples struck on the wrong planchet, meaning that the metal blank used was actually intended for a different coin, either in size, weight, or composition. And these errors can result in pennies that are too light, too heavy, oddly colored, or missing parts of the design due to being struck on undersized or foreign planchets. And These off-metal errors are among the rarest and most desirable of all coin mistakes because they are so difficult to fake and so strikingly different from normal coins, making them immediate conversation pieces and auction stars. And then we have off-center strikes, which happen when the planchet is not correctly aligned between the dies during striking, leading to a coin where part of the design is missing and a blank crescent of copper appears on one side, and the more dramatic the off-center error, especially if it still shows the full date and mint mark, the higher the value, with some examples pulling in hundreds of dollars depending on how visually compelling the error is. And collectors absolutely love these because they showcase the chaotic and unpredictable nature of coin production, and even within more subtle categories like die cracks, die breaks, and cuds, where parts of the die become damaged or worn and result in raised lines, blobs, or missing portions of the coin's design. You can find 1950 wheat pennies that are one of a kind and thus worth far more than face value, especially if these features are bold and affect key areas of the coin like Lincoln's portrait, the rim, or the date. And the market for these coins continues to grow as more collectors seek out unique and visually interesting pieces. And don't forget about lamination errors either, which occur when a layer of metal peels or flakes off the coin due to impurities in the alloy or stress during minting, and these flaws can be large or small, but are particularly valuable when they affect important design elements or create a dramatic appearance that catches the eye. And once again, condition matters. A clean lamination error in mint state will be worth far more than one with heavy wear, and other fascinating types of errors include struck-through debris errors, where a foreign object like a piece of wire or string was on the planchet or died during striking, leaving an impression or void in the coin surface, and these are often completely unique because the object only interferes with one strike before being removed or falling away, and these struck-through coins can be worth a great deal depending on how unusual and clear the object impression is. And some collectors even focus exclusively on such coins due to their bizarre and artistic qualities. And it's not just the physical errors that add value, but also the coin's provenance or story, whether it came from a famous collection, was discovered in a bank roll, or was part of a documented hoard. These elements can all increase the coin's desirability and market price. And coins that are authenticated and graded by respected third-party services like PCGS or NGC are far more likely to command high prices because buyers trust the certification and can confidently bid or buy without fear of counterfeits or overgrading. And over time, certain 1950 penny era varieties have become especially well known in numismatic circles, with detailed cataloging and reference numbers that make them easier to identify and trade, and this standardization has helped drive up demand as collectors seek to complete sets of error types or match specific varieties from different years. And social media and online marketplaces have also contributed to this trend, as more people share discoveries and educate each other about what to look for, increasing awareness and excitement about potential finds. And it's not uncommon now for people to go through jars of old change or inherited collections and discover coins they had no idea were valuable simply because they didn't know what to look for before. And that's why videos like this are so important. They shine a light on the hidden value that might be sitting in your house right now. And as interest in rare error coins continues to rise, fueled by both nostalgia and the thrill of the hunt, prices for dramatic and well-preserved 1950 wheat penny errors are likely to continue climbing, meaning now is the perfect time to check your coins, do some research, and maybe even send off a few promising candidates for professional grading, because you never know when you might stumble across a $600 penny in your own collection. And even if you don't have a jackpot coin yet, learning to recognize the signs and understanding the market puts you ahead of the game. And who knows, your next coin show visit, estate sale, or flea market find could land you a piece of numismatic history with a price tag that far outweighs its size. So keep your eyes open, keep your magnifying glass handy, And remember that in the world of coin collecting, knowledge is just as valuable as the coins themselves.